Alright, so a lot has been going on in the world right now, and it's important that I do this video. Why? Because this is me explaining a prophecy that was given in the Bible of how the times are supposed to go. How civilizations, you understand, were scheduled on a cosmic clock to rise and fall, and then another one comes in, and then eventually at the end of it all, what we are actually getting into. In some of my past videos, I had given a snippet of this, but there was something I was working on, right? And this thing I was working on was quite challenging until I had to use a different method to actually derive, you understand, the meanings behind what is actually going on. Now, this prophecy is the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. It was interpreted to him by Daniel. It's in the Bible, in the book of Daniel. Now, why is it important? Because this particular prophecy now is going to help us understand where the world is now and where it is going. What is about to actually, what is coming to an end and what is about to begin, right? This was the image of King Nebuchadnezzar seeing a man. Now, I can't specifically draw a man exactly, but I'll use an illustration here. So let's say this is a man, right? So let's say this is a man. In the dream, King Nebuchadnezzar saw a man, right? And he didn't understand what the meaning of that dream was. And then Daniel came forth to explain the dream to him. He said the image of the dream, the head was gold. You understand me? And then he said the chest or the breast and the two arm were silver. And then the waist and thighs. The waist and thighs was made of brass. Are you following? And he said the two legs were of iron. And then the feet was made of a mixture of iron and clay. Emphasis on feet, legs. You guys are saying this right. Brass, silver, chest, and two arms, right? Why is this important? The gold is the head. Now, why is this important? Now, when you think the brass is the waist and the thighs. Now, why is this important? Because this is a processional astrological phenomenon. Now, what do I mean? You can break it down using astrology. This is the times. Now, the head being gold, which sign in astrology points to gold? That's the sun, right? Which is Leo. The head gold was the kingdom of Babylon. Silver was the kingdom of the Medes and the Persians. Then brass was Greece, the Macedonians, right? Iron was Rome. Iron and clay, the feet, is also Rome. Now pay attention. The head here is Leo. The head is not Leo anatomically. No. But gold is Leo. Babylon came to prominence in the age of Leo. This was the same age that ancient Kemet rose to prominence. This was the same age that ancient Kemet rose to prominence. Nebuchadnezzar. In the name, you find the word Cad, Nebuchadnezzar. The Chaldeans. These were the guys that created the tropical astrology that uses the sun system. The astrological system that existed before the tropical astrology was all lunar system. Yes. So you hear the word Nebuchadnezzar. These are the Chaldeans under the jurisdiction of this particular stuff. Leo is gold. The Babylonians were the ruling civilization after Kemet. Basically alongside, but history kind of messed up the whole thing. But the Chaldeans traveled to ancient Kemet to actually learn astrology. Then they came back and they assigned a priesthood who sat and watched the skies for a long period of time. I don't know how many years, but very, very long. Years and years and years. And they documented all of the motions of the stars. And that is why we have the tropical astrology today. The Chaldeans invented that in the age of Leo. It was based on a sun cycle. Leo is ruled by the sun. This was the sun age. The Babylonians were us. We are the sun people. Yes. That was the last civilization that indigenous people ever had that stood tall. Babylon. That was the last civilization that we ever had on the surface of the earth that rose to prominence on that level. After Kemet, Babylon was the last of it. The sun people, us. Now, Persia, the Medes and the Persia, the night that the prophecy came, the day the prophecy came, the night of that day, Babylon fell to the Medes and the Persians, which is silver. Silver is the moon. After the age of Leo comes the age of Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. You understand? Leo rules Cancer. If you understand precessional astrology, the signs slip backwards. You have Aries here, right? So you have Pisces here, and then you have Aquarius here, and then you have Capricorn here. You have Taurus here, you have Gemini here, you have Cancer here, you have Leo here. You are starting from here. The age slips backward. This particular order, this was how it went. You understand me? Now, coming to brass. What is brass? Brass is a mixture of copper. You understand? Copper is Venus. It's a mixture of copper and zinc. Which planet rules zinc? Is Mercury. That's what brass is. Brass is a mixture of copper and zinc. Taurus and Mercury. Now, what does that tell you? Greece. This was when Greece came into power. Greece overthrew Persia and came into power. That's what this brass is symbolic of. Venus rules copper. Mercury rules zinc. Venus rules Taurus. Yeah. Mercury rules Gemini. Yeah. So, Leo is Babylon. The silver, which is Cancer, the moon rules Cancer. That was the age of Cancer. That was the Persians, the Medes and the Persians. Don't mind my writing, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Now, the Greeks ruled for 2 ages. That is over 4,000 years. And the Greeks came into power through the influence or Alexander the Great. You hear the word Alexander the Great. That was when Greece came into power. Through the prominence, through the prowess, through the genius of Alexander the Great. And dominated the earth for 2 ages. Which is Gemini, the age of Gemini, and the age of Taurus. You understand what I'm saying? The age of Gemini and the age of Taurus. Gemini is the mind, it's thinking. Gemini opposes Sagittarius. Sagittarius is philosophy. In my other video, I've told you people the ages work in geometric form. So you have oppositions. You have triangles, you have squares, and you have sextiles. You have sextiles. So the sextile often comes like this too. Like what you call the Star of David, this is how the sextile is also formed. But when you put it in a box, this is how it comes. You have these expressions in the ages. I'm going to do a video again about the current age of Aquarius. Now I want to really dissect this stuff. Now, after the age of Taurus comes the age of Aries. That is Iron. Iron. The two legs of Iron. That is when Rome came into power. Mars rules Iron. How did the Romans conquer? Through war. It is important that I emphasize on who the Romans are. These two legs, you're saying, like where you have the chest and the two arms for the Medes and the Persians, the combined force to overthrow Babylon, and then the waist and the thigh, brass, which is standalone Greece, the Macedonians, right? And then you have iron, which is two legs. The two legs now is symbolic of Eastern and Western Rome division. Yes, Rome, ancient Rome had the East and the West. This is it. Are you following? Then Rome fell. For those that say Rome did not fall, no, Rome fell. Rome fell. Rome came into power in the age of Aries. Aries is war. These people are a warfare people. Now, why do I mean by these people? Let's come to the age of Pisces. After Aries, what comes Pisces? So these two legs of iron, which is Mars, the age of Aries, right? Mars rules Aries. Hence, if you hear me use them interchangeably, right? That's the two legs. Eastern and Western Rome fell. Now, what happened after it fell? It went from a republic or an empire into a religious, body and all of that stuff. More like a republic and all of that, into a religious empire, basically. Pisces is a sign of religion. Pisces rules the feet anatomically. This is the symbolism of Pisces, the feet. This is where we are now. The same Romans that were in power here were the ones that moved. So the emperor became the pope. That is Julius Caesar became the pope. Yes. Now, after Rome fell, now the feet is made up of 10 toes, right? You know the countries that make up European Union? Those are the Romans. And some of you don't understand. The Americans, you see, those are the Romans. The British, you see, those are the Romans. The Italians, you see. The Spanish, you see. The French, those are Romans. The Portuguese, those are the Romans. The Germans, those are the Romans. You don't know? I'm telling you now. They say Rome never know Rome fell. Ancient Rome was far stronger than what they had now. The only difference between now and then is that technology exists now. But they had a more formidable structure of how to run an empire. And they were going to war. Rome subdued every other nation before it, especially Greece, with warfare. These are a warfare people. This is a warfare people that we are dealing with now. How did they spread religion? Through what they call crusade. There was massive massacre. It's the Romans, the ones you're seeing, the Trump, all those guys. Those are the Romans. You think the Rome became extinct? No. The age of Pisces was what the old Jesus symbolism was about. You understand my point? That's Pisces rules the feet. Remember where in the Bible where he said their feet are swift to shed blood? There is it. Mars is blood. It's blood shedding, including blood that moves through your vein. That's Mars. These are the same people. You see, they are warfare people. Sponsoring of terrorism and all of that stuff. These are these guys. They didn't change. It was because they fell. They now scattered abroad. Now, throughout this period, they were fighting themselves. At the period they fell, they were fighting themselves until they decided to consolidate. 'Because they now heard about Africa. 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 ' Are you following? Their power ends in the age of Pisces. The fifth is Pisces. You understand me? So the Romans, as the Americans today, as the Spanish, as the Italians, as the French, the Portuguese, the Germans, and all of that stuff. Their reign ends in the age of Pisces. We are now in the age of Aquarius. So what you're witnessing is the end. When they say we're in the last days, it's the last days of the religious empire that you know of. It's in Italy where Rome is now, like where the Vatican is. These are those. Why do you think all these guys, the French, the Spanish, these guys, they go to Rome to pay homage? You guys not clocking it. They are the same people. They know whom they are. They know themselves. So, the age of Pisces is where their age ends. Now, the thing here is that, why are they still in power? Why are they still in power? And all of that stuff. Like, they are not in power. You are the only one that thinks they are still in power. Their age has ended. Some of them know, some of them don't. Those that are occultists understand how this thing works. You see how I broke it down? Move from Leo, because the age is slip backwards. It does not go in zodiacal order. It slips backwards through the zodiac. Leo, Cancer, Greece ruled for 2 ages, the same way Rome ruled for 2 ages. So from year to year, these are 2 people that ruled for 2 ages straight. Rome had the age of Aries and the age of Pisces. Greece had the age of Taurus and the age of Gemini. Yes. These were the only guys that had one. Now, with all of the greatness of Greece that Alexander had, so they fell to Rome. Now, in the image, it said, "Thou sawest as if a stone cut out without hand and smote the feet of the image." I didn't quote it in verbal, I didn't quote it verbatim, but you understand what I'm saying. That was what that passage said. The stone that came and smote the feet of the image. What is that stone? Now, astrologically, stone is Saturn. And then stone is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. Are you paying attention? Venus is money, currency. Now, who is Saturn? Saturn is China. In my other video, I told you guys. BRICS, the 2 pillars of BRICS is Russia and China. These 2 countries are what? Communist countries. That's the communist, Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign of community. That's China. You heard about the Great Wall of China and all of that stuff. Capricorn is building its walls, its boundaries. They built that wall for, to restrict a certain demographic. There are certain people that they didn't want them to enter their land. Hence why they built the Wall of China. And you see how very fast these guys are. When they have a project that they want to do, they just onboard hundreds of engineers, and in 2 days they are done with the project, and they've gone. So the speed at which they build. These are builders. These are innovators. These are inventors. Technology is Aquarius. This is China energy. They are not going to war. They are not going to war with America. Pisces, that's the fifth. The America you're talking about, that's the religious empire. That is like the front man of the religious empire is America, which everybody says is world power. These are the Romans. They are still the same people. How is China fighting America? Remember I said stone, astrologically, is both Saturn and Taurus, basically Venus. What if Venus is money? How is China fighting America? Through trade war. They are weakening the dollar. They just need more countries that buy oil from Russia to no longer use the dollar. The dollar is going to become weak. This is the warfare you're seeing. This is a stone that crushed the feet. Bricks. It's like saying bricks, block, bricklayer, like bricklayer. That's bricks. That's what bricks is. Bricks is a stone. You don't have to believe me. No, you don't have to believe me. Live a life long enough to see it. The nodes are currently in Pisces, so you expect the religious empire to become, very, very, very active and all of that stuff. But there's something very unique that happened in the year 2020. A grand conjunction that we all know astrologically, which is the Saturn and the Jupiter conjunction, happened in the sign of Aquarius, telling you China is a world power. For the first time ever, in a very, I don't think in the last 500 years we have ever had a Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius, no. It's mostly been moving between earth signs and water signs, basically. The West have been running their game until 2020 is signaled. That's Aquarius. I just told you guys that's China. That is what is happening. This prophecy being fulfilled in our time. The stone that is going to crush the feet is taking form in the form of bricks. I say, let me tell you people, you should stop panicking. The West is going to fall. You understand? The more the dollar, China knows how to fight these guys. People think America is only strong because of the money, because of the weapons that they have or the army that they have. No. The strength of America is the dollar. Yes. Without the dollar, America ain't shit. I'm telling you right now. The strength of America is the dollar. That is the currency that I'm talking about. That China is using to fight them. Trade wars, right? Venus rules Taurus now. Venus is contention. You understand what I'm saying? Venus is contention. Adversity, adversaries, open enemies. Taurus is commerce. Contention. They are not throwing bombs, so that is what a contention is. It's warfare without bomb. That's what contention is. Without gun, without physical violence and all of that stuff. That's Venusian energy of contention. Trump went to into a trade war with Russia, with China. He lost. You guys saw it. He lost. When the nodes, the lunar nodes, the north and the south nodes are currently in Pisces and Virgo, respectively, when they move into Aquarius, China, pay attention, China, for the 18 months that the lunar nodes are going to be in Aquarius and Leo, I can't tell you guys what China will do to the West. I can't tell you guys, but you're just going to see it. I can't tell you, but like, this is how it's going to look like, but it's going to be very devastating. They are going to humble the West. This thing I said, mark it, come back to this video and reference it. They are going to humble the West. We are all on a divine clock. People should stop panicking. Yes, I understand the whole terrorist activity and all of that stuff. What you're witnessing is the death of an empire. It's like a woman giving birth. The pain of labor. This thing is dying out. So that the effect of this stone coming to crush it. When he said he crushed it to dust. You know what it means? This is the death of the Roman Empire. For good. When he said dust, you know what dust is? It just dissipates. Never to rise again. They have all of these projects. You're seeing the way capitalists behave. Elon Musk single-handedly sponsored Trump and backed him up. Used Twitter to campaign for the man like mad. That is how the capitalists act. They do not indulge in politics. They don't go into politics. They put their man there. If you guys have watched the movie Spartacus, the richest man in Rome, Caesar of Rome, answers to him. Because he owns the money. His money runs the economy of Rome. He's the richest man in Rome. I've forgotten his name. Is it Crassus or something? You guys know him. He bought a lot of Roman armies and went to want to fight the gladiators, including Spartacus and his people. Yes. And made sure that he won. because he needed to advance his cause. This is what these guys have been doing. We are dealing with the warfare people. All of terrorism is in. They are the sponsors of it. There's nothing. Everything they think is war. If they give you education, that is mental warfare, psychological warfare. They give you money, that's financial warfare. Everything they do is war. This is when they came into power. That is their energy. They are a Martian people. They are a Martian people. They are warfare people. It is ingrained in their mind, in their DNA. These are war people. You watch the movie Vikings, you see the way they behave. Where do you think those guys are the Romans? Don't know. These are the same people. I say, let me break down this stuff. So we are witnessing the stone coming to crush the feet in the form of Saturn and Taurus. Taurus is economy. Don't forget. Taurus is economy. Whether global economy, your personal economy, or your national economy, that's Taurus. So this is why I said I should break down for you people, so you people understand what is actually going on right now in the world. The religious empire that was formerly ancient Rome is going to get crushed soon. Soon. I mean, the period where the nodes, the North Node specifically, let me use the North Node for specific, is going to be in Aquarius, right? This is the true node. When it's going to be in Aquarius? The ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, and Saturn. Saturn will be in Aries then. Uranus will be in Gemini. For the period they are going to be there, these two are going to sextile each other. If it's war the West wants with China, China will be willing to go to war then. I want you guys to understand the mechanics of what is going on. This is perfectly been orchestrated. There's somewhere in the Bible where it said, and the dragon gave power to the beast. Somewhere along this side, the beast received power from the dragon. I mean, the age of Leo was the last time, because that was when Kemet was was at their prominence alongside Babylon too. So this was somewhere around the age of Leo. I mean, when the Egyptians were building the pyramid, that was when Tuban was a pole star. Tuban is a pole star in Draco. Draco is the constellation of the dragon. That is the dragon we are talking about. And the dragon gave power to the beast. These Arabians, these Persians you see, these are the Arabs of today. Yes, the Persians, they are the Arabs you know today. So all the way from somewhere here, because the age of Leo basically is where the North Star was Tuban. So that was the dragon. The dragon gave power to the beast. I'm just giving you guys a brief. That's another part of the stuff that I want to study. When I study it fully, I will come out and break it down for you guys when it means that the dragon gave power to the beast. They were talking about when the pole star was Tuban. Tuban is the pole star in Draco, the constellation Draco. Draco is a big constellation that is 120 degrees. You know, that is a dragon that they say is swept 1/3 of the stars of heaven. 360 is a cycle, right? 360. When you say 1/3, 1/3 is like, 1/3 of a team. 120, 120, 120. 120 times 3 is what? It's 360. Draco is 120 degrees. It's the biggest constellation. That is what the symbolism of that stuff says. So somewhere along here, the dragon gave power to the beast race of people. You see, it started to go down. And the stone that smote the feet of the image and crushed it to dust. That's what you are witnessing as the emergence of China. That's the end of the video.